Hare Krishna. My name is Radha Jivan Das. I'm a disciple of His Holiness Tamal Krishna Goswami Maharaj. Today I've been asked by the devotees here in Bombay to speak a few minutes on how I was fortunate to come to Krishna consciousness, how I came in contact with Krishna by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada and his movement. It is quite amazing that this recording is being done here in Bombay. I was actually a student right here in St. Xavier's College in Bombay when the Bombay Temple was being built. And I remember I used to have a motorcycle and I came to Juhu very often to meet friends, but I never got the opportunity to ever come this side and see the construction or meet with Srila Prabhupada, who was here so many times. But then, soon after Srila Prabhupada left and Juhu Temple was opened, in the month of September of 1978, I met with a devotee in my father's house in Bihar, Patna. He had come from Mayapur and he was a brahmachari, an American brahmachari. He had come to my father's house to collect donations because there was floods in Mayapur. My father was a wealthy businessman and he was also a life member. And that's when I saw a Hare Krishna devotee for the first time. I was very surprised to see a Western person so immaculately dressed as a Vaishnava with nice tilak and very bright-faced. My mother was a great Vaishnavi. She had Radha Krishna deities in her house. Sadhus always came to our house. We were pure vegetarians. So brought up as a Vaishnava, I obviously had attraction towards the purity of saintly people, and to see he was probably no more than 25 years of age, to see a young American person having given up his American way of life and taken up to missionary work and spreading Vaishnavism, Sanatan Dharma, was something that impressed me very much. And at that time, of course, my mother, she fed him, and then I asked him what was the purpose of his visit. And I said, look, I have many questions, because even though my mother and father are devotees, they've never been able to convince me spiritually, philosophically, as to why one should become an ardent devotee of Krishna like you have become. So I brought him to my room. I had a room downstairs in the house, and I gave him a place to stay. And I asked him many, many questions. And as you know, ISKCON devotees are very expert in answering questions of people because of the way Srila Prabhupada has taught us how to answer every question, and the way the philosophy of Krishna consciousness has been inculcated into the movement and the devotees of ISKCON. I would challenge him in many, many ways, and he would answer my questions. I was very convinced by his answers, and of course, due to my false ego, I would not show him that I was convinced. But inside myself, I was very happy that here's a young man who's very scientifically, logically, philosophically is able to give me the teachings of Bhagavad Gita, which I always held as sacred but never understood the contents of it. And like this, I kept him in my house, and every day he would tell me that, look, I have to go to other cities where I have to collect money because there's floods in Mayapur, and the devotees have sent me here so I can bring back money to take care of those who are affected by flood. And I would tell him, I have many friends, relatives, and my father's friends, and I would take you to all these people, and I will help you to make life members, but you simply stay with me and answer my questions. And day after day like this, I kept him in my house for 13 days. I wouldn't let him go. But in the afternoons, I would go take him to my relatives and make him life members. So he was quite satisfied. He was getting what he wanted, the money that he needed for Mayapur, and at the same time he was preaching to me. At that time, I remember I was suffering from insomnia. I was only 23 years of age, 22 maybe. And due to bad habits and bad lifestyle and a lot of anxiety because of lack of knowledge, spiritual knowledge, I actually started to suffer from insomnia, was not sleeping. The doctors were not able to help me. The medicines were not helping me. And one day, after about 7-8 days of him teaching me the philosophy, he gave me an LP record. In those days, the long playing records were there. And that was the Krishna meditation. It was all the select songs of Srila Prabhupada. And he said, look, I just have to go somewhere for one night and I'll be back tomorrow. And here's a little record that you can play on your LP player. I had a player at that time. So I put it on and Srila Prabhupada was singing. I was not able to understand the words very well because most of the words were in Bengali. I was a Hindi-speaking person, but I could get some gist of it. But just the sound and the devotion and the depth of Prabhupada's singing, and the fact that he was singing with such mesmerizing devotion, with such dedication and feeling, he was literally as though he was calling out to the Supreme Lord with those beautiful words of the Acharyas, that it started to penetrate my heart, and it was actually very soothing to my mind. So if you've seen an old LP player, it finishes, and then you have to pick it up and restart it. And you have to pick it up and restart it. Of course, I had an automatic button also, I remember. So I kept playing the same record all evening, and then when I went to sleep, it would restart by itself and kept playing all night. I woke up the next morning, I had slept so soundly, so deeply, I couldn't believe it. But otherwise, for nights I was tossing and turning in my bed and not being able to sleep. And I got up in the morning, I was so fresh. And I said, what could it be? And then I said, I've done nothing different other than the sound vibration. And that is when I realized, and this devotee was telling me about sound vibration, how everything comes from sound, how all the 5 elements of the material world have come from sound. It is the subtlest element. If you purify the sound around you, inside of you, then everything, all the elements of which your body and mind and intelligence is made of, everything becomes purified. And I could understand that here is a practical example that I'm experiencing in my very life, that because of this sound vibration, this pure sound vibration of a pure devotee, purely calling out to Krishna and singing these most wonderful songs written by the Acharyas, has purified my consciousness to the extent that I was able to be restful at night. And that's when my faith took a leap. It was that miracle in my life that happened. And the devotee came back next day, and then I said, I want to chant now. And then he gave me a japamala and bead bag. I had long hair, I remember, I cut it short. I asked my mother to teach me how to wear dhoti, and she thought I'm just having a good time with this American boy. She thought nothing of it. And I started to put on tilak and dress like a Vaishnava, and I was chanting, I remember 32 rounds a day while I was there. And then I had this great desire to visit Mayapur Dham. And he was telling me about Mayapur, how Mayapur and Lord Chaitanya and birthplace of Lord Chaitanya, and it is the Dham of Audarya Dham of Kali Yuga, and how there are over 150 devotees living in Mayapur at that time. So I had a desire to visit Mayapur, and I had made up in my mind that if this Mayapur is as clean as he says, and if their ashram life is really spiritual and nice, I may want to stay there for some time and study Bhagavad Gita and the scriptures under the guidance of these people. And so I did that. I told my father that I'm going on a small vacation, and I came to Mayapur. I remember I arrived in Mayapur on Govardhan Puja Day in 1978, and many festivities were happening at that time. And once I came to Mayapur, I decided that this is the life I wanted. The devotees I saw, their habits were very clean, their thinking was very clean. Just like Prabhupada said, high thinking and simple living. They were practicing that, they were enjoying that. And this is how I became devotee, and I actually lived in Mayapur for 14 years after that. And then after that I went to America to do some preaching and presently I am a businessman in America. And also I am very fortunate actually that last year I was asked to be part of the team of TOVP, Temple of Vedic Planetarium, which is the largest temple of ISKCON that is being built with a great initiative that Ambarish Prabhu, Alfred Ford, disciple of Srila Prabhupada, he has taken. And a team of very dedicated devotees are working on the construction and the fundraising. So I have been made the fundraising director, global director for fundraising for Mayapur Temple. I consider this my greatest saubhagya, my greatest fortune, that today I am being asked and engaged in building Srila Prabhupada's wonderful temple, Srila Prabhupada's most ambitious project. Since 1972, Srila Prabhupada talked about this project. He very much wanted the entire world to be part of this project, to participate, to contribute, to somehow or the other help in this project so that the entire world would benefit by worshipping Lord Chaitanya in Sri Dham Mayapur in this beautiful monument, this beautiful temple that is being built. So this is a small story. I only said this because these young devotees asked me to say so. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Okay?